Ember Guyger. Ember fucking Guyger. And poor Botham Jean. A man who truly just wanted to have his peace and quiet after a hard day of working. No, she's free again. Somebody bailed her out. That's $300,000 right there. However, who's not free is actually a few people who protested against this whole affair of Ember Guyger just being set free like this again. And it already sort of supports a narrative, I would say, of certain people wanting certain other people, specifically of colour, to be the guilty ones. It is really weird, at least to me. Until a certain point in my life, it was amazingly weird to witness all this and people talking about racial segregation and all that stuff, because that wasn't something that I really grew up with. You need to realise I'm from Europe, and not like the bad part of Europe, like, I mean, okay, technically speaking, but that's not important. Where I'm from is basically Germany, and in Germany we have had our good share of racially motivated crimes, obviously. I mean, just open a history book. But we kind of stopped, at least on a state-wise basis, in our discriminatory actions. We just kind of stopped doing that. At least, as a state, we didn't internalize it. For our police officers to just hunt someone down because he is of a different ethnicity as someone else would be highly unlikely, or at least if it happens, it would be a rarity. It wouldn't just happen all the time. In the US, however, this seems to be like a daily thing to occur. I just don't understand this. Also, why do so many of these African American gentlemen end up dead? Is it too hard? Is it too hard? Hold on a second. Is it too hard? Is it too hard if you have something like a gun? If you were to point it, and if you were to try to point it at something like, I don't know, his or her feet, or perhaps just this general lower area, because it would result in less deadly effect, in my opinion. A fatal wound would less likely occur. It's simple, especially if your motive was just to get this person to stop this person from trying to harm you. If it really was your motive to just stop someone from attacking you, then wouldn't your first idea be to shoot him in the leg? Because, I don't know about you, but if you were to run up to someone, then you are sort of stopped in the middle of this progression of basic things you're trying to do, as if, I don't know, trying to knife them, or perhaps trying to bludgeon him with a hammer. You would be stopped dead in your tracks once a bullet enters your fucking leg. It's very suspicious that so many African American people in the US die in a police-related incident. Now, I'm not saying that the African American community doesn't have its little incidents of black-on-black crime, for example. This happens. It's also not good. But here's the difference. You know how most of these black-on-black crimes don't really happen between two black police officers? Because that would be really fucking crazy. Okay, that's brilliant, because as a police officer you have the responsibility of serving your country and trying to protect people. And yes, you're also supposed to protect yourself. However, here's my little observation. You don't really protect yourself by shooting someone in the head, or trying to reach this general area. Which, I mean, yeah, granted, there are quite a few organs you can hit within this area, and within this area that, if given enough time, would lead to the person in question whom you shot to bleed out. It's just something that could happen. But here's my question, my simple hypothesis. Wouldn't it be more of an ideal situation if you tried to shoot him, once again, in the leg? Somewhere. Even if his genital area were to be damaged, it would still possibly, most positively I would even say, result in him, stop advancing towards you. It would result in a more regulated affair. And also, there's a little bit of a theory I have, though I'm not sure whether or not I'm right about this. But could it be? Could it just follow me here? You fuck up, or you do something on purpose. You kill somebody on purpose because you don't like their face, or you try to make it up as if they did something wrong, and well, you don't really have any evidence. Now, you know, what would be a nice idea to do? Well, you want this person to shut the fuck up after you shot them, after you chased them down for no reason, for example. Now, I'm not saying, okay, please follow me, I'm not saying that each and every one of these cases of an African American gentleman, which are like the most likely to get shot by a police officer, according to quite a few little news articles, but I'm not saying that these incidents are completely unrelated to crime. There is the possibility that it is a legitimate crime that was being stopped by a police officer. It can happen. I'm not saying that it will never ever happen, that all of these people are innocent. But I'm saying it happens way too often for not to be a coincidence. And what I'm trying to say is, are you trying to shoot these people and trying to really kill them? Because you're not just trying to shoot them, you're trying to kill them, it seems to me, because you don't want them to talk. It seems like a very effective method, I have to give you that, but it is horrible and you people should feel horrible. Your mission as a servant of the state, which you as a police officer are, is to protect the people. Once again, protect yourself too. But you're not supposed to shoot someone until they're dead. You're not a soldier in the field. And yes, once again, advancing potentially dangerous individuals are part of your job. I understand that. However, and this needs also to be understood, it seems to me that not quite as many white people die in these incidents. You seem to be quite capable of taking certain individuals into custody who aren't, who aren't blessed with a bit of darker skin, one could say. Now, once again, there's a big possibility that quite a few of these incidents were actual crimes in progress, or someone who actually felt threatened, who just defended himself. However, you can't just tell this as an excuse each and every time this happens. This is ridiculous. You are trying to tell me that each and every time of these incidents that the individual in question was just unstoppable in any other way. You just couldn't have thought of anything else but to shoot him into very vital areas. Now I know it's a stressful situation, and if I were in your shoes, I would just shoot in the general direction of this individual. Granted, however, and this is an interesting thing that you should consider, regardless if you're Guyger or some other police officer who may have been in this situation before of shooting someone who may have then turned out to be an innocent individual. Well, I just said that if I were in your shoes, I'm not a police officer. You know, as a civilian, I have a tendency of not being prepared for these situations. As a civilian, I'm not trained. As a civilian, this is the second best gun that I got available. As a civilian, I don't even have I don't have a gun license. The next realest gun that I have is this PPQ software. And as a civilian, I'm not trained for stressful situations. But you know who? Oh, bugger. You know who is trained for stressful situations? Who is trained to, technically speaking, take charge of a potentially dangerous situation? Who is trained for all this? That's right, you as a police officer. Once again, not all of you are bad people, for Christ's sake. It would be ridiculous to say something like this. There is no conspiracy, I would say, that all of America is about to try and kill black people. That sounds ridiculous. There are more than enough capable police officers, I would say. Now, I have to admit, I looked up some numbers regarding the number of people shot to death by a police officer. In the United States, that is, obviously. The numbers would be a lot lower anywhere else. There isn't, a dictatorship or something. Because I'm not sure if North Korea were to reveal their numbers. I mean, that would be... oh god, I don't even want to think about that. Now, at first, because I'm going to tell you both the numbers for white people and black people, I can also tell you the Hispanic ones, I don't want to screen over there. Shot by police. But at first I need to remind you of something. If I remember correctly, black people make up 11, black citizens, African American citizens, whatever you want to call them, people of color. They make up, I presume it was 11% of the US population. However, it's definitely not that much. I mean, it's a lot. Over 10% is already a lot. Maybe it was even 20%. However, that still leaves a lot open for the rest of them. And now numbers compared are a bit, once again, sound a bit odd, but it's like half black people compared to the numbers of white people shot by the police. However, these numbers even out on a percentual level. Okay, so hold a second. 211 white people shot by police this year so far. And compared to that, we got 102 people of color shot by police this year in the US so far. A horribly high number. And let us keep this in mind, and I beg you. And this is, by the way, one of the reasons why when I'm going to visit the North American continent, that I would rather stray away from either the US or Mexico. Both don't really have the best reputation, and I would rather go to Canada. But yeah, I'm kind of scared actually to go there. Not just because of people. Yeah, all kinds of people have guns there, obviously. But let me tell you something. You know who definitely has to have guns? The police. And if the police has guns, and if they just shoot people randomly, and then come up with some bullshit ass excuse for this, then I am fearing for my godforsaken life. And let me tell you, I can't defend myself without this, because this is a vodka bottle. Neither this. So, what I'm supposed to do? Me, as just a normal person who hasn't done anything wrong, I would still fear for my life if I were to visit the USA. What I'm trying to tell you is, please, police in this case, police, the police officers and officeresses, if that's the right female form of the US, I beg you to try and get your things into order. You need to reconsider so many things. This can't be a number you ought to uphold. This is ridiculous. You're supposed to protect people. You're not supposed to be a killer militia squad that just goes through your country and just kills each and every one you just don't like. By the looks of it, you're supposed to protect, you're not supposed to kill. Try to train your people to do exactly that. And if there really is an agenda against the African American population, then I only have to say, good Lord, just why on earth are you still doing this? You should have known better. You still have an ugly shadow of the Jim Crow days spread all over your country. Do you really want this to prevail? Is this your idea of a good life? Just killing one another like this? Come on, you're better than that. These numbers make you sound like fucking Russia. You don't want to be Russia. You really don't. I hope. So yeah, as an ending statement, I can only say, first of all, get Amber Guyger back into fucking jail. This cannot stand. She had a responsibility. She fucked up. She definitely should at least be... Okay, even if she doesn't get a life sentence, which I actually, in the comment section of my previous video, I argued with one of the commenters that she shouldn't get the death sentence, because what the hell is that going to do? She's not going to learn jack shit. You're supposed to learn from a penalty. If you don't learn from it, then well, and you don't learn from being killed. You're dead. Has a tendency of, kind of, I don't know, making people unavailable for your services and for things you want to do with them. As such, I would propose 2 life sentences for her, and since if I remember correctly, a life sentence is like 25 years, I say 50 years for her. And she's going to be 80 or dead. However, she will have learned something. Now, if you think that is way too much, then I would say, well, 5 years. At least a few years, for Christ's sake. It should be enough. She deserves this. There should at least be a few years. Actually, that's not enough, but it should be a minimalistic effort. Something. She can't just be bailed out like this. She's a danger to other people. Her Instagram account, if I remember correctly, was found, and it looked kind of weird, to say the least. With all this is said, I can only hope that the American police forces get their fucking act together. Guys, it's no longer 1955. You should know better. Yes, the clown is still out there, but you should not behave like them. And yes, you should actually be persecuted like a normal person. when you do this, it's ridiculous. With Botham Jean, you robbed the world of another good man. In this case, really a good man. A church-going Christian. Now, I'm an agnostic myself, but I respect the kind of person that he was. And I would never, ever say anything bad about someone like him. He's just someone who really probably made the lives of everyone around him brighter. And you bastards think you can bail out his murderer? No, justice needs to be served. Justice is important. You were, technically speaking, supposed to be the guardians of justice. Want to know what you're to me as of right now? As of right now, you're a bunch of bullies. And that's the worst thing you can be as the protectors of the law. You're supposed to be the police, not a militia. With that said, I hope to God, or any other deity, if something is out there, that this will change over the next few years. I hope that people, especially the police officers of the United States of America, will finally get the shit together, and that the US in and of itself will become a lot less violent place to live in. You can't just shoot your problems away. I urge you to try and find peaceful solutions within your own fucking country. This is not even about war. This is just enough of this shit. I'm just getting worked up about basically something that I can't change. I hope it changes. I don't know what to say, but yeah. Get her into jail for a few years at least, if not a life sentence.